India now has a new vice president in C P Radhakrishnan. He won the election with a thumping majority, securing 452 votes, while his main opponent, Justice B Sudershan Reddy, garnered just 300 votes. From the way the votes have been polled, it is clear that there have been at least 15 votes more that the NDA candidate has managed to secure, which means about 15 cross votes have happened. Who in the India alliance has voted against the India alliance candidate and in favor of the NDA candidate? When the initial count was being talked about earlier today in the morning, the India alliance count was around 315 and the NDA count was around 427. But now it's turned out that the NDA candidate has got at least 15 votes more from the India alliance. The India alliance candidate, of course, has put out a letter thanking all the opposition parties for backing his candidature. Within the next hour, we are expecting the new Vice President of India, Mr. C P Radhakrishnan, who is going to be at the residence of Union Minister Prahlad Joshi. The Prime Minister is expected to arrive there as well, and there's already celebrations that have started at the residence of the Union Minister in anticipation for the big crowning of the Vice President, the next Vice President of India. The question also for the India alliance is who cross-voted, because it wasn't just about electing the next occupant of the Rajya Sabha chair. This was a high-stakes clash. This was pitted as a battle of ideologies. Akhilesh Yadav said this is about Antaratma ki Awaaz. Alliances were tested, loyalties were under scrutiny. Will the cross-voting, and there have been at least 15 cross-votes, will it hurt the India alliance, not just in terms of optics or numbers, but in terms of the index of opposition unity? I want to first play out what the Rajya Sabha Secretary General said while he announced the numbers and how the NDA candidate, Mr. C P Radhakrishnan, won by 452 votes as against 300 of the India bloc candidate, Justice Reddy.
Shri Buchi Reddy Sudarshan Reddy has secured 300 first preference votes and Shri C P Radhakrishnan has secured 452 first preference votes. As the first preference votes secured by Shri C P Radhakrishnan was greater than the requisite quota, in pursuance of provisions contained in Section 11 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act 1952, 31 of 1952, read with Rule 35 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Election Rules 1974, I, P.C. Modi, the returning officer for the Vice Presidential Election 2025, hereby declare that Shri C P Radhakrishnan, Jal Bhushan Raj Bhavan, Walkeshwar Road, Malabar Hill, Mumbai, has been duly elected to the office of Vice President of India.
All right, I want to go across to our reporters. First, Aman Sharma, our political editor, joining us. Pallavi Ghosh, Arun Thanta is joining us from Prahlad Joshi's residence, where the celebrations are already underway. Aman, so at least 15 cross votes from the India alliance, which went in favor of the NDA candidate. Obviously, there'll be a lot of post-mortem and analysis as to who these 15 were. It does, put paid to this whole business of India alliance, unity, all opposition sort of converging on the candidature of Justice Reddy, because clearly there were some within the alliance who decided to break away and vote in favor of the NDA candidate.
Well, clearly, Zaka, I think there are two big game changers in the vice president election. Look at the figures first. NDA was at 427. They were assured another 11 by the YSRCP, which voted alongside the NDA. So their number went from 427 to 438. This is the coup because YSRCP, coming, C Sudarshan Reddy was born in undivided Andhra Pradesh, is a Telugu, but still the YSRCP committed to the NDA that they will vote for the NDA candidate. So I think this change of heart from the YSRCP, not changing their choice even after Sudarshan Reddy was announced as the candidate by the opposition parties, was I think the first game changer. The second game changer, the journey from 438 to 452, the 14 additional votes which have come to the NDA camp. This is clear cross-voting, as our colleague Payal Mehta has also put out these figures. This cross-voting, has it come from the Congress? Has it come from a constituent of the India bloc? We don't know yet. I think there'll be a lot of, allegations exchanged now inside the India bloc that where did this 14 votes go away to the NDA camp? And I think Jairam Ramesh tweet, where he put out a couple of hours ago that all 315 votes of the India bloc were cast That shows that 15 votes are less because the opposition candidate has only got 300 votes. This will leave a lot of, I think, introspection to do on the India Alliance bloc point, also about, their candidate, because their candidate has not been able to win the confidence even of the Telugu parties. BRS has abstained, YSRCP has jumped ship towards the NDA, and on the other side, you have a Tamil candidate who's won, and the BJP might well say that the DMK didn't vote against the Tamil candidate. How will this play out in the Tamil Nadu elections in the next few months? I think NDA has a lot of big takeaways from this, and as I said, the two big game changers.
Okay, I also want to go across to Pallavi Ghosh. I mean, it's a secret ballot. There are no whips. Are there ways in which the opposition alliance can find out who are the cross votes? I've heard some reports that Congress is suspicious of some DMK MPs cross voting. There are some other reports suggesting that Aam Aadmi Party, which had declared its support to the India bloc candidate Justice Reddy, some of them could have cross voted. How do you know whether it is Congress MPs who cross voted, whether it is non-Congress MPs, part of the India alliance, who cross voted? How do they get a sense of this?
Well, like in any other election, the polling agents can always go up and ask for some kind of a breakup, and they also do some their own of the internal calculations. I mean, earlier in the day, even as the counting was about to begin, we had that very important post coming in from Jairam Ramesh, and I call it important because that really has ended up becoming a giveaway and a benchmark for this narrative that there was indeed a cross-voting, because he says, I congratulate the fact that all 315 MPs voted. They came and they voted. So there was no absentees as far as them are concerned. There are 15 invalid votes, but there are also 15 gap between the numbers who turned up to vote and the final vote, first preference votes as far as Sudershan Reddy is concerned. So who are those 15 people? And even those invalid votes, was it deliberately done? Because there have been several elections when we have been privy to it, when we've covered elections both inside and outside Parliament. And I would say I remember the Women Reservation Bill, the one which was brought in by the UPA government under Sonia Gandhi. I remember at that point of time, there were deliberate mistakes which were made so that the vote becomes invalid, because they didn't want the fact to be exposed that they were not in favor of the Women Reservation Bill. So these things do happen, but these things will happen and come out in the post-mortem. Prima facie, when I did speak to the top Congress sources, they said we were feeling all along there could be a certain amount of cross-voting which takes place, maybe possibly a couple from the DMK, also coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party, and they're also going to cross-check whether the AIMIM indeed ended up voting for Sudershan Reddy or not.
Okay, I also want to go across to Arun Danta. He's at Prahlad Joshi's residence where the celebrations are already underway. What is expected in the next hour or so? I believe the Prime Minister will also be joining the celebrations there. Has the next Vice President already arrived? When is he expected to arrive? And what can we expect over the next hour and a half or so?
Well, Zaka, the celebrations have already started here, and laddu distribution is also taking place. We're given to understand that all the BJP MPs will be coming here at Prahlad Joshi's residence in a short while from now, and C P Radhakrishnan, of course, will be meeting them and thanking them for their support. And Prime Minister Modi, we're given to understand, is reaching here somewhere around 9:15, 9:30. Let me quickly give you a glimpse that how they are prepared here. There are three this kind of stages have been made outside the residence of CP Joshi, on which you will be seeing, of course, traditional dance being performed. And as and when you will see activity, the MPs and the ministers start coming here, you will see all of them getting into the groove and just start celebrating here, as Prime Minister Modi and BJP, of course, is expecting that all their 427, including NDA MPs, have voted, and they all are valid, because Prime Minister Modi's message, Zaka, was very clear yesterday in that 2 days workshop of BJP, that we'll have to ensure, though we know that CP Radhakrishnan is going to win, but still we'll have to ensure that every vote is valid, and therefore they have to ensure this, because if even a single vote is invalid, then you have a different talks started happening around that. So we'll have to ensure that every vote is valid, and that's what government is saying at this point, that their 427 MPs voted and all of them are valid. So therefore, if you go by that calculation, then probably there'll be 14 who cross-voted. Who were they, from which party? That's something which we'll get to know. But of course, here outside the residence of Prahlad Joshi, everything is decked up. Now, we will be seeing in a short while from now MPs and senior ministers reaching here. And then, of course, Prime Minister Modi.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Arun Danta, Pallavi Ghosh, Aman Sharma for joining us. I want to open this up to our guests who are joining us tonight. Look, the numbers were never really in contention in as much as this was going to be a clean and straight win for the NDA candidate. Even if only NDA MPs voted, at the very least he would have got 427. Now he's ended up with 452, which means some degree of support has come from other parties, including parties in the India Alliance, or at least individual MPs within the India Alliance. So who did the cross-voting? And this whole campaign that we've seen over the last many weeks and months about vote chori and all of that, what happens to that? Because these were not conducted on EVMs. There's no election commission here. These were ballot paper elections, old-fashioned ones, and yet 15 people who belong to the India Alliance have cross-voted. So let's find out. Aditya Khera is a spokesperson of the BJP. Matthew Antony, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Smita Prakash, editor of ANI, is joining us. Smita, like I said, it's not just about optics or numbers. The numbers were clearly in favor of the NDA candidate. But the fact that the India Alliance candidate got 15 votes less than what their own leaders were claiming, that is something that will be a matter of introspection. But can they really find out? And how will they find out? Who are these cross-voters?
Well, I think it's supposed to be a secret ballot, of course, but these political parties have means to figure out as to what happened actually. I think the BJP, as usual, they managed the outcome skillfully. They deployed political negotiations as a tool. Several regional parties that are not formally part of the NDA, which your reporters pointed out, BJD, YSRCP, Akali Dal, they chose to abstain. But so when you choose to abstain, what happens is that it lowers the threshold of the required votes that the BJP needed, their candidate needed. But the interesting part which you point out is the invalid votes, which is so strange. What happened? The ink dried up or something? There were these courses which were conducted, or did the consciousness come into play, this antaratma come into play? What was the cross-voting for? Interestingly, the BJP framed the election less as a contest of ideology and more as in, parliamentary efficiency, persuading the fence-sitters, avoiding open confrontation. And the opposition, despite what Mr. Jairam Ramesh says, they just failed to mount a sustained campaign. Pallavi has been talking about that in all your bulletins. There was disunity, maybe not regarding the choice of candidates, but just, lethargic interest in the candidate. It was left to him to call up the Dravidian parties and tell them that, vote for me, I'm from the south, galvanize support. It was a limited outreach to regional parties. Besides that, it was just lethargic. The entire campaign was, the leader of the opposition was missing from action in the past few days in the run-up. So, it was all left for the BJP to dictate the terms, and it exposed once again that, the opposition is unable to translate the outrage it has into some kind of an effective strategy to win.
I want to ask Matthew Antony, the candidate, this whole thing about, Telugu pride, therefore we'll get TDP to vote for him. All three Telugu parties, BRS abstained, YSRCP voted in favor of the NDA candidate, TDP also voted in favor of the NDA candidate. It's probably the first time that, two parties that are so bitterly at loggerheads with each other voted for the same candidate. You are not even able to convince those parties, Matthew Antony. How are you going to convince the whole country about this whole campaign you've been undertaking for the last many months now about vote chori? What happened? There's no vote chori. If any vote chori has happened, it's 15 of your MPs have cross-voted in favor of the NDA candidate.
Saka, how can you be so predetermined when you have 15 votes which are invalid? So we don't know the facts right now. We got 315, we got 300 out of that. And 315 is there. There is 15 votes which are invalid. We actually don't know, we need to find out. So you can't be so predetermined.
No, one second. No, the numbers are, Jairam Ramesh claimed 315 of the opposition MPs have shown up and they've all voted. Now, your candidate did not get 315. Your candidate got only 300. The 15 invalid votes are outside of those, which means those 15 invalid can come from NDA also, can come from neutral parties also, can come from India Alliance also. That's outside of the 15 less that your candidate has got. Your candidate has got 15 less, which means where did those 15 go?
No, do you have that information where the 15 invalids are from all other ones?
No.
Or,
No. One second. Again, don't confuse our viewers. There were 15 others that are invalid, which is not the same 15 that your candidate did not get. Your candidate got, no, we do know.
Ballot.
Your candidate got 15 less than what your own leaders claimed.
See, that's what I'm saying, to the records. I don't know who they have voted for.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Some of your folks have voted for the other guy.
They have voted for somebody else, and I'm saying there are 15 invalid ones. So we don't have a clear information about it. So how can you say that the whole 15 is not ours? Or the whole 15 is ours as well? How can you make a claim that?
Because that would mean if all 15 invalid are yours, then the other 15 should have come to your kitty. The other 15 did not come to your kitty. So where is that other 15?
I don't know at this point of time.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Analyze the numbers. We're going to analyze the numbers. I don't know at this point of time because the results came out just now, 10 minutes back or 15 minutes back.
Anyway, no, my point is simply this. You pitched this whole thing as an ideological fight. The word that Akhilesh Yadav used this morning when Pallavi spoke to him is ye antaratma ki ladai hai. What is the antaratma, yaar? I mean, 15 guys have gone and voted for the other chap. What antaratma are you talking about?
So, a vice president election, we have very clearly maintained from the very beginning that's an ideological battle. And why is this ideological battle? It's against the constitutional breach which the BJP government has been doing this for the last 12 years. And the hijacking of the institutions, starting from the judiciary to the constitutional body of the election commission. That's a vote chori which we are making.
So there was no election commission in this election.
No, not in this election.
We are not conducting this election.
We are
the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha Secretariat was conducting this election.
Saka, let me.
So they are also compromised. Lok Sabha Secretariat is compromised. Rajya Sabha Secretariat is compromised.
If at all you want to interfere, then I'll stop.
No, I'm asking you.
Let me just complete it.
There's no election commission in this election, right? So then who is the institution that is compromised?
No, I am saying about the opposition campaign and why is this an ideological battle. We continue with our vote chori campaign about the election commission being compromised for the elections in the states, as well as the Lok Sabha. We put up evidences there, and there is absolute silence. There is no debate on that from the other side.
No EVMs. Good old-fashioned ballot. Okay, Prime Minister Modi has just tweeted. One second. Prime Minister Modi has tweeted. 1 second, please. Congratulations to C P Radhakrishnan for winning the 2025 Vice Presidential election. His life has always been devoted to serving society and empowering the poor and marginalized. I'm confident that he will be an outstanding VP who will strengthen our constitutional values and enhance parliamentary discourse. Radhika Kera, I come back to that point about, no EVMs, no election commission. And yet vote chori happens, and Matthew Antony and Jairam Ramesh have all been saying that Akhilesh Yadav, this is ideological. So those 15 guys who cross-voted clearly don't believe in any ideology. That's why they cross-voted.
Jai Hind. First of all, let me extend my congratulations to Shri C P Radhakrishnan ji on this emphatic victory as the Vice President of India. Winning with 452 votes against 300 is not just a margin, it's a mandate, and one that speaks volumes about the strength and unity of the NDA. Now, like you were talking over here, that they could not convince the others. Well, Zaka, they couldn't convince their own. 15 have either cross-voted or something has gone wrong. They couldn't even keep their own tabar together. Now, if you see, they've made this entire drama for the past 11 years. They said EVM chori ho gaya. They said vote chori ho gaya, vote chor gaddi chor. Now they will start crying that MP chori ho gaya. Fact is that their own people, unki antaratma jag gayi, and there were certain MPs also from the India Alliance, who I think even Pallavi spoke to, and lots of people spoke to, and they said that हम मन की बात सुनते हैं. सबने अपनी मन की, maybe there were those 15 only जिन्होंने मन की बात सुनी. But having said that, if you see the entire day today, the India Alliance MPs, one thing that I noticed, Zaka, today, that the India Alliance MPs were going on, whether it was the AAP MP, whether it was from the MPs from Shiv Sena, they were all talking about Nepal and all warning that this could be happening in India. Well, Nepal actually happened in the India Alliance today. They could not keep their own people together, and we've seen that whether it is the India Alliance people, whether it is those who are not a member of the NDA.
So I have the breakup. And I want our guests to pay attention to this and our viewers to pay attention to this. Out of the 15 invalid votes, the breakup is as follows: 10 of those 15 invalid votes were NDA, and 5 of those invalid votes were that of the opposition, which means that the opposition had 5 invalid, the NDA had 10 invalid. Had Mr. Radhakrishnan got these 10 more, his tally would have been 462 instead of 452. And Mr. Justice Reddy's tally would have been 305 instead of 300. So which means this whole idea that the 15 who cross-voted are not necessarily the cross votes, there could be invalid votes, that has been negated, Matthew Anthony. Out of the 15, 10 invalids were NDA, 5 invalids were opposition. And by the way, our reporters are also saying that the assessment seems to be, both from the government side and from the Congress side, that there could be 1 or 2 MPs from DMK, Shiv Sena UBT and Aam Aadmi Party who cross-voted. That's how it adds up to 15. And the invalids, as you said, are not all yours. In fact, it's almost a 2:1 ratio. 10 invalid from NDA and 5 invalid from the opposition. So there you go, Mr. Matthew Anthony.
Can I come in, Saka?
Yes, please.
So, first of all, I didn't say that the entire 15 is ours. I said no, we don't know. Even the numbers which you're saying right now is quoted from sources. We don't have an official. These are all kind of sources which are saying. I don't know whether you have an official information from the Rajya Sabha election office of this. So we are speculating these numbers. We are speculating the sources. I don't want to qualify these comments on that.
No, 1 second. No, there will be no official this thing on it because this is a secret ballot. No, you can't say MP X or MP Y or MP Z.
I said neither you nor me.
It's calculations made by political parties, including your own, Mr. Anthony.
Yes,
Congress sources have told Pallavi Ghosh that they suspect 1 or 2 MPs from Sena UBT, DMK and AAP possibly cross-voted.
Sources may have given it out, but let it come officially. As a spokesperson, I am sitting here and I'm not saying that, no, I don't have any official information on that one.
Okay.
And I have to qualify the official statements on that.
We have the President's tweet as well. Congratulations to Shri C P Radhakrishnan being elected as the Vice President of India. Your decades of rich experience in public life will contribute significantly to the nation's progress. I extend my best wishes to you for a successful and impactful tenure. No, Radhika Khera, again, Congress.
I have a question.
Yeah, yes, please.
I have a question. I have a tweet here of Ms. Supriya Shinate, who's the social media head of the Congress. It's right here. And she's tweeted the photo of Prime Minister voting in the presidential elections and saying, ye chune ballot paper se. So inka chunav ballot paper se kyo nahi? So I would like to ask the Congress spokesperson, you just lost an election to the ballot also. You've lost elections to the EVM. You've lost elections to the ballot. Now, what are you going to cry? How do you want the next elections to be? If EVM, you're losing. Ballot, you're losing. You're not able to keep your MPs together. जो भी हुआ है 15 वोट तो आपकी कम हुई हैं. The fact is that you people, your own people are not believing in you. Your alliance is not together, and you are going and fighting and blaming the Bharatiya Janata Party and the NDA, and you are degrading the post of the Prime Minister by again and again saying vote
fundamentally, I said this in the morning, and I say this again, Smita Prakash. I think the opposition is missing a trick by picking up an issue which no one's saying it's not a serious issue. Of course, it's a serious issue. We all need clean electoral rolls. They're the foundation of any integral election process. But that's not the point. The point is it a livelihood issue? Is it an issue that has resonance with people's livelihoods? Jobs are, inflation is, unemployment is. All of these are issues that affect people's lives. I'm not sure that SIR and people being deleted from voter rolls is exactly something that, every person feels so passionately about that you think it's a vote determinant issue. Is it a vote determinant issue? I don't know. I really don't think it's an issue that moves the needle. But the Congress has been going on and on and on about it, that, even Rahul Gandhi led that 15-day, 16-day Padyatra. The entire thing was on SIR. But is it really moving the needle in Bihar? I don't know. Smita Prakash.
We won't know, right? They picked up Rafale, if you remember, about the Rafale aircraft. Did it matter to people because you buy an aircraft if there's corruption? So, you really don't know what actually moves people. But this election, of course, we're a country which is obsessed with elections. So whether it's a constitutional club election or this election, it'll be, vice presidential election, it'll be discussed threadbare as to what went wrong. I'm sure these invalid votes in the NDA will have Mr. Amit Shah's team working very hard overnight as to that, despite having these classes which they had to explain, workshops to explain how to vote, in spite of that there have been these invalid votes. So why? So there'll be a lot of soul searching on that too. But winning this election, Zaka, was important for the BJP because it consolidates the party's domination in both houses of parliament, and they need that. The vice president's post is not just ceremonial. The proceedings of the house, the conduct of the debates, managing disruptions, steering the bills, that's all important. So securing this office was doubly important, especially after what we saw, what happened with Jagdeep Dhankhar when he started acting with independent agency.
One second.
So the BJP wanted procedural.
This tweet that you're seeing on the right, I hope you can all see our screens. This tweet is from the official Congress party handle, tweeted just 1 hour ago, by the way. Just 1 hour ago, just moments before the results came, and it says Man Ki Baat. It has a picture of the Prime Minister behind a bunch of curtains trying to come out, and it says fill in the blanks, main vote dash hoon. Obviously, they are hinting at vote chor hoon. Now, please tell me, किसने vote चोरी की, Matthew Anthony? Who stole 15 votes? I mean, who cross-voted 15 votes?
So, Saka, first of all, I'm kind of a bit shocked about a leading journalist talking about that. No, the vote chori is not a matter of a concern for the countrymen, but it's not something which affects. What we are saying is a fundamental aspect of the vote.
Did I say that? I'm sorry. Please don't misrepresent. Please don't misrepresent.
Not
I didn't
you.
say it is not.
Not
Zaka,
you.
please. I didn't say that.
No, he's talking about me. I think is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
I'm talking about you, sir.
No,
Not about
I
you,
continue
sir.
to maintain that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm saying that, when we are sitting in good AC offices and, very comfortable life, and then our right is being kind of taken away, and it is being manipulated, and that is used for a dictatorship, an undeclared emergency, that is a cause of concern. And that is for a political party, for an ideological battle to fight for the constitution of this country. And, that is really shocking to see from a very senior journalist like you to say that it is not concerning.
One second. My point was, okay, 65 lakh names have been deleted from Bihar, right? That's the official tally from the Election Commission. Those 65, one second. Those 65 lakh people have a chance. They had a month-long time to again appeal to the Election Commission, move courts, whatever it is, to try and get their names back on the list. Now, my point is, there's a remaining 7 crore odd who are your majority electors in Bihar, whose life it does not affect because they are there in the electoral rolls. For them, this is not an issue. Nobody is taking away their votes. So you have basically made the number one issue in this election an issue that concerns less than 10% of the electorate of Bihar who are not on the voter rolls, and the remaining 90% who are on the voter rolls don't care about this issue because it does not affect their lives. Their names are there in the list. That's what I meant. You've picked up an issue that does not matter to 90% of the electorate of that state.
I'm coming to you. So, you're speaking specifically about Bihar. We are speaking about a country-wide hijacking of the electoral rolls. We spoke about a specific constituency in Karnataka. Then we spoke about Maharashtra earlier. We are coming to speak about Haryana later. So we are saying that the election commission, the electorate role of the election commission is being hijacked.
That's
exactly, and that's a concern.
Anyway, Radhika Kera, go ahead.
We have also addressed the GST
issue. The conflation of, let's take the Mahadevpura example, right? Rahul Gandhi's contention was 1 lakh extra voters have been added. Fake voters, absentee voters, all kinds of voters. That is one thing to allege, but to say that extra 1 lakh all voted for the BJP is completely, completely jumping the gun. But anyway, Radhika Kera, final word.
Let me respond to two things very quickly. Quickly. First, the Congress spokesperson is talking about an undeclared emergency. Well, sir, after the tweet that the Congress just did with the Prime Minister's photo, after the tweet of Supriya Shene, if this was the emergency of Indira Gandhiji's time, both would be in jail, and so would be the man who called for boti of the Prime Minister, who's an MP who works with Priyanka Vadra ji, and also all those MPs who sat outside the Indigo plane and said ki Modi teri kabar khudengi. Having said that, Second thing, you're talking about vote chori in Haryana. Boss, you haven't even elected your leader of opposition in the last 11 months. 11 months ho chuke hai chunav hue hue. You don't have a leader of opposition and you're talking about vote chori. Your minister, Mr. Rajanna, was removed from power because he exposed Rahul Gandhi's claim that all this was during the Congress government and it is the Congress to blame for this. So this is the real emergency which continues, the same emergency mindset within the Congress.
I got to leave it at that. I want to go to the other story.